Everybody knows that Austin has been a tech magnet for years, but if you're considering relocating to the greater Austin area, things are changing really quickly, and there's a new sector that is growing really quickly, and it might surprise you as to what that is. In this video, we're gonna break down what the future job market here in Austin actually looks like over the coming years and into the future, what sectors are experiencing massive growth, and how big booms in healthcare and infrastructure are massively going to actually change what life is like here in the city of Austin and what the landscape looks like even. I'm Justin Rossi, born and raised here in Austin, Texas, local real estate expert, and I love making these videos to help people make a smart move to the Austin area. So let's start with just a bird's eye view of the Austin job market. It's not all tech anymore, and the tech kind of slowdown that happened in 2023, 2024 was kind of more of a reset than it was a halt in growth of the tech industry overall. We've still got 1 in 5 jobs being STEM related: science, tech, engineering, and mathematics. So the Austin job market is evolving, really, just like the city itself. It's not just changing, but it's evolving. We're seeing a lot of other industries. You know, tech is big, 1 in 5 jobs is still tech related, but we're seeing these other industries like healthcare, education, infrastructure and development, construction, government jobs even, really kind of step up to the plate and make there be a lot more opportunity here in the city of Austin. So that's a huge shift in kind of historically what we're used to. So let's dive into the real big new powerhouse here in Austin, and that is the healthcare industry, right? So where the Frank Erwin Center used to be located, there's going to be a giant development and expansion in healthcare. University of Texas, UT Austin, is building 2 major medical towers, one for UT students and one for healthcare treatment and research for cancer. Those are gonna be on that Frank Erwin site, right kind of in the heart of the city. All right, so super quick update to the UT medical facility towers. Now, nothing's written in stone yet. They are still highly considering the Frank Erwin site. However, they just announced that they could potentially be considering relocating those medical towers a little bit further up north to an area by the Domain. Still gonna have the same impact on the Austin area, still gonna create the same jobs, etc. But the location is a little bit up in the air. So I just wanted to give you a quick update. Let's hop back into the rest of the video. So that's a $2.5 billion investment happening here right in the heart of the city. So that's gonna change things massively in those surrounding areas. We're talking about 10,000 projected jobs created, and that's gonna be, including healthcare professionals, admin, IT, and all the supporting things that go into a big healthcare development like that. So the next big project in healthcare is going to be the St. David's expansion. And that's an expansion project. So it's not centered around one location. That's gonna be in North Austin, that's gonna be south in Kyle, that's gonna be in Cedar Park and Leander. So it's really a regional expansion of the St. David's healthcare system. And that's about just shy of $1 billion. That's $950 million planned project. That's gonna create about 3,000 new jobs in the healthcare field and in the construction field. So that's gonna have a massive impact on the greater Austin area as a whole. And it's going to include new hospitals, emergency rooms, and specialty centers. And then the third one on that list is the Ascension Seton infrastructure development. So what they're gonna be doing is they're going to be expanding locations throughout Hays and Williamson counties. So that's north and south. South is gonna be Hays County, and north is going to be Williamson County. So again, that's another regional project affecting the entire greater Austin area. And they're gonna have an emphasis on trauma, neuro, and cardiac care, which is gonna be adding about 2,000 jobs to the greater Austin area. Again, that's not as big as the $2.5 billion UT project, but these things added up are gonna have a huge impact on the whole region here in Central Texas. And there's already 1,100 healthcare and biotech companies in the greater Austin area. So it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I really do feel like this is gonna have just a huge upside to this area as a whole. So let's dive into what this really means for Austin, the landscape, and the market here in general. So I like to call it kind of a ripple effect, right? You're gonna have that big drop in the water that's going to be healthcare as a whole just blowing up, but then you're gonna see those ripple effects kind of affect other industries, other things like the entertainment and retail sector is going to increase substantially because all of these jobs that are going to be created are going to create a higher demand for housing, an increase in population, and those people need something to do. So around those areas, you're going to see more restaurants, more entertainment venues, and things like that. You're also going to see kind of what I call healthcare tourism increase with the cancer center, particularly in the UT area. You're going to see that tower go up, and then you're going to see a higher need for hotels, things like short-term rentals, Airbnbs, things like that are really going to see a bit of a boom because you're going to have people coming to the center of Austin for healthcare specifically. And then of course, you're going to have the jobs created in the support sectors. We're talking, food service, things like janitorial, IT, admin roles. So all of those other subsidiary kind of, I guess I'll call them auxiliary fields are going to see an uptick as well. And then of course, you're going to see a big boom in the demand for construction workers, laborers, plumbers, electricians, things like that. There's going to be a huge demand with the price tag on all of these projects comes the people that actually have to build them. So let's talk about the economic impact that all of this is going to have. Healthcare already supports about 140,000 or more jobs in the greater Austin area, and that's within healthcare and the supporting roles. And with these new projects, we're talking about 20,000 or more jobs being created in the healthcare field alone in the next 5 to 7 years or so. Again, we're going to see an increase in medical tourism with the UT Tower that's going up for cancer treatment and research. So all of this is really going to bring higher wages. It's going to stabilize the job market here in Austin, and it's absolutely going to fuel a higher demand for housing and the growth of local businesses. So there's a much bigger picture here, right? The healthcare growth isn't happening in a vacuum, and it's tied into major projects that are going to be happening in regards to infrastructure and transportation here in Austin that are really going to reshape the landscape of the city and what it means to live in the city center. The absolute major change to the infrastructure that is going to really have a big impact is Project Connect. Now, right now, Austin has a rail line. It's called the Red Line, and that connects the northern suburbs down into the central core of Austin, but it doesn't run very often. It's not used by a lot of people. It's really just kind of a work commuter train that goes from north down into the city center, and that's just about it. Project Connect is going to bring a light rail system that runs almost constantly. I think they're talking about every 5 to 10 minutes. It's going to add tons of stops down really the backbone of Austin, and it's going to make all the areas around where those stops are much more walkable, much more user-friendly, so to say. And it's really going to see, in my opinion, a boom around those areas with, the city's going to put a lot into the development around those stops. So you're going to see, mixed use projects, you're going to see restaurants, you're going to see bars, you're going to see shopping and entertainment centers all around, where those light rail stops are. But it's also going to make access to, the healthcare system and that UT Tower much, much easier for a lot of people. Ultimately, it's going to make it easier for people to work there as well, and it's going to increase the property values, in my opinion, surrounding all of those areas where there are light rail stops. If you're planning on relocating to the Austin area or even just thinking about it, I would absolutely love to help. So don't be shy, text or call the number on the screen. We can set up a one-on-one Zoom to discuss your plans. You can also text or call the same number with the word RELO to get a copy of my relocation guide. And it's got a lot of valuable insight from a local that'll really help you kind of do the research phase of your plan. And then lastly, I would absolutely love it if you subscribe. It'll also help you in your process of kind of researching the area and thinking about places that you might want to live. If you subscribe, I release new videos every single week, and it'll help you stay in the know. So the next major project that is going to really affect the landscape and the layout of the city, it's called the Cap and Stitch project. Now, some things have already kind of gone into motion, and some things we don't know if we're going to get approval for or not. But overall, the project is taking I-35, which is the north and south freeway or highway that runs through Austin, especially in the downtown corridor. So in that downtown corridor, they're considering or planning to bury I-35 underground. So when they do that, it's going to remove this kind of historic boundary between East and West Austin. It's always been really divided, right? You can't walk easily across where they have this giant highway. So it's really going to change the landscape. It's going to make the areas, from East Austin to West Austin much more walkable. It's going to connect those two areas together in a way that we haven't really seen before. And that especially affects the UT area, because downtown Austin and UT are built right along I-35. but it's kind of been divided at the highway there. And if this works the way they're planning on having it work, then that'll be gone. There won't be that physical barrier anymore. So the second phase of that, which is at this point just a proposed idea, they've already started and released some of the plans for actually burying I-35, but the cap portion of the cap and stitch project is they want to cap those areas where I-35 goes underground with a lot of different parklands and things like that. So that isn't written in stone yet, but it's very likely that there is going to be some sort of green space on top of where they buried I-35, which is just gonna make that general area as a whole a lot more livable, a lot more walkable. I'm sure it's gonna bring a lot more mixed use kind of developments and things like that are just going to kind of improve the quality of life of the people that live there or the people that work in those areas. So together with the healthcare boom, this is really going to make Central Austin a much more walkable, densely populated, kind of innovative corridor for healthcare and wellness. So at the end of the day, what does that mean for you? That means that you no longer have to work for Tesla, Apple, or Oracle to actually make it here in the city of Austin. Nurses, electricians, research techs, IT, admins, it's all gonna be in really, really high demand here in the city of Austin and in the surrounding areas. So the future of Austin's job market is much, much more balanced than we've seen it in the past. And that means that there's tons of opportunity across more job types. So with these massive plans in the medical field, these crazy changes that are going to be awesome for the infrastructure of the city, it's never been a better time than now to actually get in before these changes take place. And in my opinion, values of homes in those areas absolutely skyrocket. So before we end, I would absolutely love to connect with you. So you can text or call the number on the screen and we can set up a one-on-one strategy Zoom to discuss your plans, make sure that you make a smart move to the city. And I also have a relocation guide. You can text or call the same number. If you text, just put the word RELO and I'll send you a free copy of that relocation guide. It's got tons of valuable insight from a local perspective and tips and things like that that'll be really helpful for you to know before you move here. And then lastly, I would absolutely love it if you subscribe to the channel. I drop new videos every single week and they're gonna be really, really impactful and help kind of guide you through the process and keep you in the know.